Welcome to Strength for the Journey. This is your host, Trish, here to encourage you in your life, your walk, and your journey. God designed a map uniquely for you, and He has a plan for you every day to follow. More good news? You never walk alone. God is right there with you. Welcome. I am so glad to join you today. I'm feeling so much better. I was so sick for about a month with a virus going around, and then I couldn't talk because I had laryngitis, so I hope you can hear me clearly today. I have a special guest today joining us, and it is my beautiful daughter-in-law. She is a young Christian wife and mother, and she has shared so many incidences with me about how the Lord has led her and guiding her through her life. And Katie, it's good to have you today, and just share from your heart what you would like to tell our listeners.
Yeah, Bill, thank you for having me. Like you said, I'm a wife and a mom, and I'm married to your son, and it's absolutely fabulous. And I love being a mom, and I work full time as well, but it's a little bit about me with that. And then I think you had also wanted me to talk a little bit about my faith journey and how I came to know the Lord.
Right. Everybody has a journey, and I love to hear how other people come to know the Lord. And tell us something about that.
I accepted Jesus into my heart when, honestly, I don't even remember the age, but I know I was between the ages of 6 and 8. But I came into the Lord early, which was really nice. My parents, we always went to church, and my grandma, she's always having us sing Bible verses and songs. And I just remember that in my childhood, and I loved that so much. So very grateful for that. I've been raised in the church.
What's one of your favorite songs that you might have sung back then? You can think of one.
I can't think of a specific song, if I'm being honest, but I will say something that she did teach us, and I will not do that today, I guess, but is how to, or like the books of the Bible, how to say them in order.
Oh, you want to do that today? I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that today.
It might be a minute.
You sang in a praise team too, didn't you, for a while?
I did. I helped with our church youth worship team. So that was pretty fun for a little bit. Did a little piano with that. It was fun. It just wasn't something I feel like I was called to do long term.
And so you went to church when you were young and then as a teen. And tell us a little bit about your journey of God's will and finding the right man for you.
Oh, that was definitely a fun time in life. Growing up, I always knew that God had a special person for me, and I was going to get married before God comes back. I just had that feeling. But I went through a tough season at one point, being a young adult and just finding the Lord. We went through some issues with church. A big church split, unfortunately, happened. So walking through that was really tough being a young adult. I was also going to community college, trying to figure out what the Lord wanted me to do. And Liberty came into my life, and I got to come and go to college there. And in the midst of that, my first semester, I actually got very sick. I went on a missions trip to Haiti, and I had been there before, so it wasn't anything new, but I had gotten the dengue virus, and that was very new back in 2013, I want to say. And so I was in the hospital for quite a few days with that, actually. They had not known what it was. And I remember just being there for multiple days in a row, and I just wasn't getting any better. I just felt very sick, and I didn't know what was going on. I had multiple doctors, but I remember having a conversation with God and basically saying, please heal me. And if you are real, I think it's common for a lot of people at times to really question God if He is real. And I think that's a raw moment. And I got to just really hear Him or see Him show Himself to me in a new way. And I told Him that, hey, if this is it for me, please just let me go. And if not, then I would live my life to serve you. And woke up the next morning and I was still there. So I figured God wanted me to stay. But from then on, I did heal and I got better. And I came to Liberty, went to school for a little bit, and ended up finding a job through them. And that's where I met your son. And from day one, actually, is when I met him, and he kind of stole my heart a little bit.
I remember him talking about you when he first met you, and he said, "That's the one I'm going to marry."
Yeah, and it's cool. I guess that's a story for another day. But one cool moment, though, that really just for me showed me that he was the right one is through various circumstances. I had like my car break down and some other stuff, and he was there helping me. But I remember one day we were sitting in his car. He came and picked me up and took me back to work, or to and from work, because of my car situation. And we were sitting there one day, and he just poured his heart out to me, and I was a little taken back by it. But I, at the same time, felt like God just like his presence just entered that car. And Matt was like waiting for me to answer him, and I'm sitting there having this conversation with God. But the peace of God that I felt in that moment was just unlike the peace I have felt before. And I knew that this is the one that God had for me. And at that point, I looked at him and I was like, all right, let's do this. And in my mind, I'm like, even though we weren't already married, but in my mind, I'm like, all right, he's my man. Like, he's the one I'm marrying, and I'm not worried about it anymore. And 8 years. We've been married 8 years so
8
far.
years. 8 years and one little boy,
One little boy.
5-year-old Noah,
Yeah.
our grandson, who's a sweetheart. And I like to talk to folks about their walk of faith and what they've been through. And, so many people go through illnesses and lengthy illnesses, and sometimes they get so discouraged. And I think just hearing someone talking about how God brought them through it, the scripture says that we should encourage each other and pray for each other, and that peace that passes all understanding. We can really feel that when you were talking about you just even talking with Matt, just feeling the Spirit of God move in your relationship. So I thank you for joining us, and I just want to thank all of you listeners for being here and listening. And we will have Katie again, actually. I think our next time she's here, we'll talk about attitudes. So everybody's got an attitude about something.
Yeah.
So, and I'm signing off. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. This is Trish. On Journey with You, this is Trish.